Hi students, this is Mr. Metelsky. In this video we'll be covering how to look at and examine combinations when you're given a certain amount of objects and you're trying to pick a certain amount of them at a time. So one thing that we want to remember is that combinations basically is a selection of objects where order is not important. So you're picking from a group a certain number of elements or a certain number of pieces, and it doesn't matter the order that you select them in, but we're trying to figure out all the different ways that they can be selected. Now, there's a formula that helps us figure out the number of combinations. It's this formula here, NCR, and it's equal to n factorial divided by r factorial times the quantity of n minus r factorial. So what does that really mean? Well, when you're given a situation, n is going to represent the total options. The total options. So let's say, you were digging into a bowl of candy, and in the bowl of candy there's all sorts of different pieces. There's no duplicates. Every single piece is a different type of candy. So there might be, let's say, 15 pieces of candy in the bowl. But your goal might be to only select maybe 4 pieces at a time. So how much you're actually selecting, or the size of your combination, is going to be R. So the size of combination. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply this formula to the situation down below here. We're going to work through an example together. So it says you can't decide which 3 shirts to take on a family trip. You've narrowed down your choices to 5 different kinds of shirts: a t-shirt, a polo shirt, a jersey, a dress shirt, and a sweatshirt. How many different combinations of 3 shirts can you create from your 5 shirts? What are the different combinations? So the first thing that we want to do is, and I already have it listed here, is in order to work with these, I'm going to assign each one a letter so it's easier to work with. So I just took the first letter of each shirt, wrote it to the left here. The next thing we want to do is come up with our N value and our R value. So if you remember, the N is the total options. The total options here, that says there's 5 different kinds of shirts. So that's going to be our N value. R, or the size of the combination, it says how many different combinations of 3 shirts. So it's going to be 3 for our R value. So when we plug it into our formula of NCR equals n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial, we're just going to replace everywhere you see an n with the number 5 and anywhere you see an r with the number 3. So it's going to become 5C3, or 5 combination 3 at a time, equals n factorial, and n is 5, so 5 factorial over r factorial, which is 3, so 3 factorial, times n minus r, so 5 minus 3 factorial. So again, I'm just using the same formula and I'm just swapping out the numbers where they belong for the letters, n being 5 and r being 3. Alrighty, here we go. Good old order of operations tells us parentheses first, 5 minus 3 is 2. So we could simplify this to 5 factorial over 3 factorial 2 factorial. Now here's where you need to know where the factorial or that exclamation point, what that represents. So in our case, in math, when we use an exclamation point, what it means is you take that number and then you multiply it by all the whole numbers below it. So for 5 factorial, that would really mean 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's what 5 factorial is. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. All over, well, we have 2 different factorials here, so we're going to have to do them both. So 3 factorial is going to be 3 times 2 times 1. And 2 factorial is going to be 2 times 1. So it's almost like this is the first group here, and then this is the second group here. Now, if you remember some of your rules for division, we can divide factors that are in common in the numerator and denominator. So here, 3, 2, and 1, isn't that equivalent to 3 times 2 times 1 down here? So we could really make this 5 times 4 over 2 times 1. And that would give us 20 over 2, which is 10. So now that tells us that there are going to be 10 combinations. So that's our first goal in this problem. We need to figure out how many different combinations, and there's 10 of them. Now what we need to do is we need to actually come up with the 10 combinations. So in combinations, remember the order doesn't matter. So for instance, if I would look at the combination, let's say I take the first 3, a t-shirt, a polo shirt, and a jersey. That would be T, P, J. In combination world, so to say, that is the same thing as saying T, J, P, which is the same thing as J, P, T, which is the same thing as J, T, P, and so on. We could make 2 more from that as well. We're not going to write all of those. All we're going to do is we're going to write one of them because the rest of them all represent the same combination. It's still going to be a t-shirt, a polo shirt, and a jersey. Just it doesn't matter the order of them because we're just dealing with the number of combinations here. So what I like to do is I like to group them and sort of go in a systematic way. So what I do is I'm going to look at the first 2 and do however many combinations I can get with a t-shirt and polo shirt. So I could do a t-shirt, a polo, and a jersey. So I could do that. I could also do a t-shirt, polo, and a dress shirt, right? So t-shirt, polo, dress shirt. I could also do a t-shirt, polo, and a sweatshirt. So t-shirt, polo, sweatshirt. So those are all the ones that I can do with T and P. Now let's look at P and J. Well, I already did T, P, and J, so I'm not going to worry about the T, but I could do P, J, and D, couldn't I? P, J, and D. And then I also could do P, J, and S. So we have 5 of them. We have half of our amount. We still need to do 5 more here. So if I keep going down and do like the next loop-de-loop here, couldn't I do, we did TP, then we did PJ, couldn't we do JD? So we could do JD and S. All right. Now we have to look at some other combinations here that would work. So if you take a look here, We did all of them like in a row. We did TP, PJ, JD. We could also do DS, right? So DS, we could do DS. Well, did we do DS and T? Let's see. Nope. So that would be one. How about DS and P? DSP. No, we did not do that either. DSP. And we did DSJ right here, so that's not going to work. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to do 2 more. Now, I don't think we did any with T and S, did we? T and S together? Starting out? I mean, here we did T, S, and P. Did we do T, S, and J? No. And then did we do T, S, and D? T, S, and D. Yes, we did that one here. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're looking for one other one. So what else are we looking for here? So the last one that I see is T, J, and D. We forgot to go back and get that one up at the top. So T, J, and D. So that is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 combinations. You notice that none of them repeat the same exact 3 letters. All of them contain a different combination of 3 letters. All right, make sure when you're doing these you really take your time. You use your formula first to figure out the number of combinations, and then you go through and look at all the different combinations by writing them out. The question is going to be 2 parts. It's going to ask you how many and then what are those combinations. All right, good luck to you.